If in doubt, find another way. Good morning and welcome to Tuesday the 18th of November. I would like to pay my respects to the spirits of the land here where it is windy and therefore the internet is not working. Actually, you know what? I just think that's my being here right now. So still waiting for a call back to figure out when my new service will be connected, but Mercury is retrograde. So, you know, do I have to wait till the 30th? Maybe. Good morning, Alicia. How are you, beautiful? So nice to see you. All right, let's have a look at today. It's pretty full on. So in the words I wrote is life seeming a little bit full on right now. So I can just look at the transits. All right, so we currently have the moon at 29 degrees. Good morning, Kath. Good morning, Helen. How are you? All right, so we have the moon at 29 degrees of Libra at 29:54, so close to Scorpio. Goes into Scorpio at 8:45. So what's that, in like 11 minutes? So and it is forming a yod, all right? So that is those two inconjuncts and a sextile, the finger of God. Good morning, Susan. So right now you could be dealing with relationships, or, you know, you're like, maybe you're thinking about what you have to do with someone. Again, it doesn't mean romantic relationships, but it does mean relationships of some sort. Now, when the moon does move into Scorpio, we are in the new moon energy, all right? And that new moon is at Thursday afternoon. So it's quite a long Scorpio new moon transit, all right? So we've got pretty much all day today and tomorrow, and then up until 5:46 on Thursday. So get prepared for this deep dive. All right, now the grand trine that is happening, still in effect. Everything today is at 25 degrees. So yesterday I was talking about that long-term planning, you know, really stopping on the side of the road and getting the map out. I have been listening to Mel Robbins' Reinvent Your Life, and so the analogy that I'm using. Good morning, Anita. Oh my God, look, they survived. Your beautiful flowers survived. Thank you so much. I had such a beautiful time yesterday. I had Anita here and Sally and Elizabeth and also Beck. It was so nice to meet you, Beck, as well. So we had a great morning yesterday. So thank you so much. Blah, 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 the grand trine. All right, so, you know, yesterday I was talking about pulling over, having a good life reassessment for these long-term goals, all right? This new moon is way more long-term, all right? We're getting into this energy where we've got this Mercury. Mercury's doing a lot of things right now, as well as being retrograde, all right? So it's also in the energy of the grand trine because it's coming up to its Kazemi. Good morning, Kathy's. I've got two Kathy's. Good morning and good morning. So we're very much in our head right now. There's a lot of transformation going on. And, you know, the analogy with the map is, where do you want to be in, you know, X amount of months, all right? So we're giving ourselves enough time to plan the journey. And because it's a Scorpio moon and, you know, like Saturn's involved, Saturn and Neptune are, you know, in that subconscious space, that spiritual connection. Like, what are these restrictions, Saturn, that you are overcoming or that you are being made aware of with the final retrograde of Saturn in Pisces and also Neptune? Maybe where are you drowning in it? Or maybe you're floating beautifully above the surface. Who knows? You know, everybody is going to be getting affected or afflicted differently with this. But overall, most of the energy is blue, all right? So we've got a lot of positive energy. Even though, you know, like right now, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, all right? So our thoughts about our beliefs on an internal level are sextile, so harmonious, or it gives you the opportunity to work with it with Pluto in Aquarius, all right? So how do you want to transform those things that you believe so that your future endeavors are way more suitable for who you are now. All right, so the long-term planning is there. Like I said, that yod that is just right now, because Uranus is at 29, Neptune's at 29, and the moon is at 29. So this might be just something that you can just consider. Or, with that Uranus in Taurus, we're being made aware of where we are uncomfortable when it comes to our values, our sense of self-worth, our security, maybe even our finances. That Uranus Neptune maybe and the Libra, maybe you're being made aware of who sprouts the most financial leaks, or maybe you're seeing how a relationship triggers you and makes you uncomfortable. Again, that's more of a fleeting thing, but there might be some sort of awareness right now that that's why, or that's where, or that's who. So okay, so yeah, all right. Planetary wise, the moon does square Pluto at lunchtime at 12 p.m. All right, so there might be things coming up out of the depths. All right, the moon will be in Scorpio by then. So just reinforce yourself, guys, that this is a very shadowy time. We're going to be experiencing intense emotions. We could be getting triggered. We could be remembering. We could be in crisis mode, or, we're acknowledging old traumas that are making us uncomfortable. Uranus in Taurus. Maybe those old traumas, we can see how those crises have held us back or made our self-worth feel less than. And just the cognitive awareness is enough for you to be able to be self-aware and choose to not stay in those energies or those thought patterns. All right. So, a lot of beautiful awareness that comes from going within, sitting in the tricky space. All right. Remember, there's a lot of stuff about the skeletons in the closet that, that those deep soul places, they rattle loudly at times like this because they just want to be acknowledged. They're not something to be feared. They're something to be looked at. The sun is at 25 degrees of Scorpio right now. Venus is in Scorpio. Venus, where we give and receive love. Sometimes we do have to just sit in uncomfortable places. Sometimes we do have to acknowledge, the passing of things, the intensity of emotions. I don't know, maybe with Venus in Scorpio, you've got your mojo back and you've got your fishnets on and you're like, buddy, come here, buddy. Or something like that, Maybe you've got a heightened libido at the moment and you're just like, well, this is quite deep and raunchy. Who knows? All right. Oh, Sally, I'm so sorry. You know what? Actually, I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and there are new platforms and there are new things coming, and I don't think that FB will be around forever. So in the future, I am aware that I will more than likely be moving to somewhere else. Hopefully everybody comes with me. But you know what? There's such a state of flux in the air right now, like on a global scale, especially where this, everybody's starting to acknowledge that actually this is a really good one, this Mercury in Sag, all right? We have been fed a lie when it comes to the awesomeness of AI. I don't know whether I've told you I was using it. No, I'm not. I just got so sick and tired of it being stupid and saying dumb things and untruths that it was really pushing as the truth. And I was like, I just don't engage now because it's proven that it's not as awesome as what everybody's saying. I definitely think that there is a bubble that will burst. All of, the prices, this is a world where people's self-importance feeds this circle, and then everybody gets like drawn into the lie. Therefore, things expand And when it's not based on a solid truth, it's gonna implode. All right, so get ready for this big, AI is not going to take over all our jobs. Robots are not going to take over the jobs of the house. They can't even stand up at the moment. It's going to be a very long time before we get general artificial intelligence in some sort of machine that is going to be able to take over humans' positions. It's just not going to work. It might work in the Amazon warehouse where it's programmed to go and grab a book off a shelf, but it's not going to work in general everyday life. How many times have you tried to talk to a chatbot and it's just like, no, do you mean? No, I don't mean that. All right, so I definitely think that we're heading for some sort of implosion when it comes to our tech very shortly, especially as soon as Uranus moves back into Gemini. Those untruths are going to be exposed. So that was a bit of a tangent, but I think it was necessary. So what else have we got? So so lunchtime, just be careful of things coming up. Now, after 6 p.m., the moon in Scorpio is going to come up and connect to Venus in Scorpio. So that is going to be lovely. Remembering, though, that Venus is in detriment, all right, because she rules Taurus. So this just means that she's a little bit uncomfortable, and even though I rave on about her being awesome, good morning, Karen, how are you? She's still uncomfortable, all right? She might think that she might feel like she's fabulous in her Scorpio attire, but she's still not as gentle and lovely as she wants to be. Sometimes being a vixen for her is... maybe when the moon comes up to Scorpio, she might be like, dude, seriously, get off me. But anyway, it is Moon Venus, so hopefully this evening will be much nicer. So like I said, after 6 o'clock, it starts that conjunction. It's not conjunct at 6, it starts. So that might gentify, that might reduce any of the intensity. That'll do. All right. So I think I've pretty much covered everything. Like I said, Mercury, very, very active. So that was what I was going to say. The Mercury opposition to Uranus, all right? So, our beliefs are changing, all right? We are seeing things. When it moves back into Scorpio, we're going to be able to sift through the damaged data that has stopped us from being our most optimal in the past, okay? So, I don't know, mindset shifts are coming left, right, and center. Again, it's a massive week of transformation, and I just think all of that transformation is about self-awareness and then choosing to do things differently. Getting that big road map out and not having the expectation that you can do it all at once. These are long-term changes and beliefs, and eventually I want to get there. Okay, so and with a map you work backwards. All right, so let's just draw a card. Yeah, this birthday year has been intense for me. I know I've not felt this yuck for a while. Not that it's stopped me, but it's definitely slowed me down considerably. Oh, this, whatever. Oh, okay. All right, we've got 2 guys. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. All right, look, we've got the Hierophant and the Queen of Swords, and look at that. Either way you do it, all right, it takes stopping and thinking about things to get that evolution and that awareness and that. So either way you look at it, whether you feel the connection. And then you're able to, like I said, cognitive awareness and self-awareness, all right? That stopping and thinking that will give you that higher awareness of where you're at right now. So I love both of those things. That was a definite note. These 2 cards are coming out. So enjoy your Scorpio moon transit. That does culminate in the Thursday afternoon new moon. Just remember that if you are going into these quiet, dark spaces, it is the time to do that. Make sure that you are resting. Make sure you take snacks. Journal if you have to. Get You know, if you need to have therapy or counseling, or find someone that you can verbalize. Don't keep it locked in, all right? It's, you know, we are transforming, transmuting. Mercury is connecting with Pluto, and it is asking you to think about what you believe so that you can transform that future. So you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. My group, I'm going to have to do it early again today because I am working. So I will see you guys in 15 minutes. And thank you so much. You're all amazing, and have a fabulous day. Mwah.